poetry. Because a new kind of nostalgia is born when you dwell on the spell of possibility, and possibly I'm falling for you. See, I like my women like I like my coffee, strong, which is never how I'd like to start off any sentence. But I've come to understand that the sentence can be a lonely place just like this is. It's the kind of thing that leads a lot of people to say a lot of stupid, misguided things. Like the heart sings. And then you told me you love the way I express myself. Very poetic. The very incantations that send sensations and palpitations to permeate the bone and find a new home in these vocal vibrations. Makes me sing all day, all night, all day, all night. I dream of you. Makes me sing. Because a new kind of nostalgia is born from meeting someone like you. Cool, thank you. It's our first night here at the Rock House Cafe and Gallery, and it's fun. I had to perform. So, closing out the list for the first round, but then we're going to open it up again. Like I said, we're going to open it up. We have Fabian, who's coming. He's been coming through, and he's been consistent. Freehold slam, barbed wire, any type of reading or open mic, he's there because he has stuff to say. So, it's worth checking him out. So let's close off the round. Give a huge round of applause for Fabian.
Yeah.
Who the fuck are you to judge me? You think you're better than me? Why? Because I have done things that are bad, things that are wrong, things I'm not proud of, things that are illegal, because I've broken laws and done bad things. Let me tell you something. I regret none of it. Everything I did to not end up like you. You crossed every T and dotted every I, not because you wanted to, not because you're more moral, not because you are better, but because it was expected of you. You are not good. You simply lack imagination. You never made a choice in your life, except one. In a world full of war criminals and rapists, you chose to call me terrible. You cheapen the word, not because you have to, but because it is easy, it is safe, and it is there. If you deem me terrible, then I damn you with a curse far worse. I judge you to be worse than anything I know. I judge you to be mediocre. I judge you to be average. I judge you to be dead. It has been 7 days since I've seen sunlight. 3 days since I've talked to another human being. I don't know how many hours since I've eaten or drank water. I'm wandering the streets like a madman, listening to a man named Joshua speak of the vampire of time and memory and myth. I don't know what the fuck he's talking about, but it sounds great. It's midnight in my life, and this is the space I have chosen to live in. This poem is the only thing I will produce today. This poem is the only thing I give a shit about right now. This poem is the only thing that will save this day from being a complete waste. That is a problem with being a writer. From the outside, it can look a hell of a lot like doing nothing. How do you explain to an accountant, while you were punching a clock, I was sleeping. While you were sleeping, I was wandering the streets like a madman trying to pull things from the air. How do you make yourself understood in a world full of assholes who will want you to be just like them? How do you explain that you're always writing even when you're just sitting there? You don't. You just have to let those cunts laugh at you and walk away. This vampire existence does me well. I have learned much. Many hours put in, but I have learned much. The dark is a great teacher. You swim in it, and it will show you things. The world is a clock. Move against it. Whisper in the moments between the seconds. Learn what infinity is. Swim in it, and you will see. You give yourself to an experience, and it gives back. You give up control, and you realize you never had it. You give yourself time, and you'll realize it doesn't exist. And this is nothing. There are those who don't just wander here, they live here. With the divine and the profane clasped hands, they live pressed between the palms of everything. You should have seen me in my younger days without a car. It is one thing to glide along behind 2 tons of steel and glass. That is one thing. But on foot, that is a different beast altogether. The night comes alive, it jumps out, and it grabs your throat. Perhaps I should return there one day, take this as far as it will go. But I must be going now. I need to eat and drink and sleep before I die or scream or pass out. And then who would write these strange, fucked up poems about clocks and vampires and mythology? Exactly. Fucking exactly. Did you know that they say that when you see a wild animal in the woods and it does not approach, it is because it sees the darkness in your soul? Well, we're in the woods now, and I see you. It is 3 a.m, and I approach. I see the darkness in you, and I like it. You think others don't see it, and maybe they don't, but I do. I want to taste the breath of your poison. I want us to devour each other. I want you to taste my poison. I want you to take my hand. Let me show you what life is. I see the darkness in you, and I like it.
Alright, that's Fabian, and while he was performing, right, he's like the definition of writer, because he walks around with notebooks. Like, I've seen him carry 3 different notebooks before. And that's when you know, like, you just write and write and write. And I think that's the way to do it. If you create in any way, if you're a musician, an artist, like, any kind of artist, right, you just do it, and that's the way to go about it. So we're actually going to close around, because